Hi, Archie.
How are you today?
I am very good. How are you?
Good.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. Jigsaw looks at this ransom note right here, and he realizes.
Do you want to see your necklace again?
Oh, want to read it? Can you read that note? If you want to see
If
your
you
necklace.
want to see your necklace again, sit by the phone and wait.
That's right. So the first thing that Jigsaw said, remember, he's a detective, so he's looking for clues. One of the things he wants to know, if there's a note, is did someone write it by hand, or did they use a computer or a typewriter? How did they write it? Now, if they wrote it by hand, then they can look for some interesting clues because they might be able to match the handwriting to another person. So if they have a list of 3 or 4 suspects, a suspect is a person who they think might have done the crime, might be the who. Remember, a mystery always has the question who did it? And so the suspect is the answer to the question who, or it might be the answer. They think this person might be the one who did it. And if you have a list of 3 or 4 suspects and you have them all write a note, and then you look at the ransom note, you could compare how they wrote the letters and see, does it match? Is it the same or not? So that would be a good clue. So the first thing that Jigsaw noticed, he said, it's typewritten. I observed. I have to remember that I'm the Jigsaw. I'm Jigsaw in the story. So Jigsaw is the one telling the story. So when I say I, that's Jigsaw. Typewritten, I observed. Probably done on a home computer, Mila concluded. Concluded is a way to say said, but you're saying said. It's when you're saying something where you're listening to some different information and then you put all that information together and you say, oh, I can draw a conclusion. I can say that because of this, this, and this, that I think this is true. And so she looks at the note that is typewritten, and her conclusion, what she thinks, is that someone typed the note on their computer at home. And then Mila says, it's perfect. The punctuation is correct. Now, punctuation is a very long word, and it's hard to see because they put some of the word here and the rest of the word over here. Punctuation is talking about all of the little dots and lines that help the sentence make sense, help the reader know when to take a breath and when to pause. And punctuation is a very important part of the sentence, but it is not the letters in the sentence. So punctuation could be these quotation marks here, or this comma here. It could be this exclamation mark right here, or this period right here, or this question mark right here. And she said, the punctuation is correct, no spelling mistakes. So whoever wrote it knows how to write English very well. I, Jigsaw, smirked. Smirked is a word that means you're kind of laughing, but you're laughing usually in not a very nice way. You're laughing or smiling in a way that is almost laughing at someone else. So I guess smirked is really smiling, but you're smiling in a way where it looks like you're maybe laughing at someone else, or you find something funny, or you have a private joke, but sometimes often if someone is smirking, they are I think thinking something about someone else that's not very nice or that's kind of making fun of them. So I think that smirk does not have a good connotation. Connotation is a pretty fancy word, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. Connotation. Connotation. So connotation is something about a word. So with a word, we have the meaning, right? Any word in English, we know what it means. We can look up in the dictionary and find out what it means. We know that the word or the phrase might have literal meaning or figurative meaning, but that's meaning is what does it mean? Connotation is more, how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel like it's a good thing or like it's not a good thing, or does it make you feel nothing? So when we talk about connotation, we talk about three kinds, either good, bad, or nothing. So for a good connotation, and I'm going to use a plus for that because I think of a plus as positive, and a positive connotation makes us feel good. It's like giving someone a compliment and saying that's something really great about them. A minus makes me think negative, and negative makes me feel not so good. They're not so good feelings. So negative connotation is almost like an insult, like you're saying something bad about someone, you're criticizing them. You're not giving them a compliment. And then in the middle, we would just say it's neutral. And neutral means it doesn't make you feel anyway. It's just nothing. So words can have a positive connotation or a negative connotation or neutral. Now, if you're going to say a person was grinning, that's a really big smile, and that has a positive connotation. That makes us feel happy. And it compliments the person. It tells us that they are a happy person and they are, that's a good thing to grin, to smile really big. Well, a smirk is also a really big smile, but it has a negative connotation because if a person is smirking, it kind of means that even though they have a big smile, maybe they're thinking something that is a little bit mean. And so if you say a person is smirking, you're not really complimenting them. But if you say a person is grinning, then you are complimenting them. So even though smirking and grinning might be synonyms, I don't know if you've heard this word before. Synonyms are two words that mean the same thing, like happy and glad mean the same thing. Smirking and grinning are synonyms because they both mean to smile, but grinning has a positive connotation. If you say someone is grinning, you're giving them a compliment. You're saying they're very happy. If you say they're smirking, that has a negative connotation. You're kind of insulting them, or at least not complimenting them. You're saying that there's something about them that is maybe not admirable, not something to feel good about. So this is an interesting page for me because it's a page that makes me feel like Jigsaw is not a perfect person. And I find it interesting that the author would share this side of Jigsaw with us because he's the hero of the story. He's the one telling the story. If I was the author, I would want Jigsaw to seem fantastic and great all the time, always kind. But Jigsaw smirks and he says, at least we know Bobby Solofsky isn't behind this. He can't spell. So what he's doing here is he's making fun of Bobby Solofsky by saying he can't spell. He's not good at spelling words. Well, if the letter that was written, if the ransom letter was perfect spelling, then Jigsaw is ready to cross Bobby Solofsky right off the suspect list. It's like, well, it can't be him. He can't spell. And so, I mean, that's good that he's not a suspect, but the way that Jigsaw kind of crosses his name off the list is a little bit of making fun of Bobby Solofsky, just a little bit. And he thinks that's kind of funny. Well, then Kim says, why would you suspect him? Kim asked. And Jigsaw says, everyone is a suspect, I told Kim, especially Bobby Solofsky. He's been a stone in my shoe for years. And she says, a stone? And he says, it's like a pain in the neck, I explained, only lower. Well, we've got two different things to look at here. One is this word suspect. Now, I just told you that if there is a crime or something that happened that should not have happened, that was not right, doing something that's not fair or not good, and they want to figure out who did it. So a detective is investigating, is trying to answer the questions of who did it, how did they do it, why did they do it, where did they do it. The answer to the question who is the suspect. So there, as they look for clues, they will be making a list of people who maybe could have done it. And so a suspect is a noun. It's a person. It's somebody who could have done the crime, who could have done that thing that they are investigating. So when we say that word, suspect, which part am I saying stronger? A suspect.
Sus.
Yes, okay, so my accent is right here, right? And we know this is a noun because it's coming after the word a. And we put the word a in front of a noun. So the word a can be a really good clue that coming after it is a person, place, or thing, or idea, but a noun, a suspect. But then in the next line, he says, or sorry, in the previous line, Kim asks, why would you suspect him? Suspect. Why would you suspect him? Well, here, this time when I say the word, I say suspect. So which part of the word are we saying stronger here? Suspect.
Suspect.
Yeah, right? So that's this part. And this is a verb. So suspect is a verb and suspect is a noun. We spell it the same way, but we change how we say it. So when we look at this sentence, why would you suspect him? The subject in this sentence is you, and the verb actually has two parts. It's would suspect. That's the verb. You would suspect. So when you find this word suspect or suspect, you might not know how to say it unless you figure out, is it a noun or is it a verb? It depends on how they use it in the sentence. If you see an a or a the before it, that's a really good clue that it's going to be a noun or a person. So that's a suspect. This is a two-syllable word, right? Suspect. There are a lot of words in English that have two syllables, and they can be both a noun or a verb. And we change the way we say it. We spell it the same way, but we change the way we say it depending on if it's a noun or a verb. Now, something interesting that Jigsaw says here is everyone is a suspect. When he works on an investigation or a mystery, he doesn't start with a blank piece of paper and then he puts the names of the suspects on it. He seems to kind of have everybody on the paper and then he starts crossing them off. So that's kind of interesting. He says his idea is that unless we can prove somebody didn't do it, then they are a suspect. But here he says, this is Bobby Solofsky, has been a stone in my shoe for years. So this is kind of an idiom. This is a phrase because we can see there are 4 words, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have to decide if the meaning is literal or figurative. Do you think Bobby, a kid, is really a rock, a pebble, a stone in his shoe?
No, figurative.
Figurative. Now, have you ever felt a stone in your shoe before? A little pebble?
Yep.
And does that make you feel good or is it annoying?
Annoying.
Annoying. So what do you think a stone in my shoe means?
Annoying hit.
Yeah, so Bobby is very annoying to Jigsaw. Jigsaw does not like Bobby Solofsky. Well, remember, Jigsaw is only in 2nd grade. Is there anyone in your class who you find a little bit annoying?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so does Jigsaw. He finds Bobby Solofsky annoying. So he thought it was very funny to say, well, it can't be Bobby Solofsky because he doesn't spell. And so but Kim says, a stone? How is Bobby a stone? She's taking it literally. She's like, huh? He's a kid. How can he be a stone? That doesn't make sense. And so the way Jigsaw explains it is by using another idiom. And he says, it's like a pain in the neck, I explained, only lower. Well, so this is another idiom, a pain in the neck. So that's not literal either. That's also figurative. Do you think that feels good if your neck hurts?
Yes.
No. This morning, my neck was bothering me. I had a pain in my neck that was literal. I just kept rubbing it all morning. I'm like, oh, that hurts. And that would be literal. But to call a person a pain in the neck means that they are being annoying, irritating. And when he says only lower, he's just making a joke of, okay, go from the neck to your foot. Because the foot is lower than the neck. But he's this is also just a joke because this doesn't make sense since this is not about a shoe and this is not about your neck. Okay. I scribbled in my detective journal. Where did you find the note? I questioned. So this is the next clue that Jigsaw wants to find. His first clue was that it was typewritten or typed. His next clue that he wants to look for is where was it? Where did the person put the note? Because wherever she found the note is wherever she found the note is where the person who did the crime put the note. And she says, it was sticking out from under my jewelry box, Kim answered. I picked up the box. Mind if I look? If Kim minded, she didn't say so. So here, do you see this word mind?
Yeah.
Minded? Well, mind means our brain. It's a synonym for our brain, for the part of our body that does the thinking. But here they're using it as a verb. And remember, when a person is speaking, they do not have to speak in complete sentences. And we know that Jigsaw is speaking because of the quotation marks here and here. And in between them is what he says. And so when he's speaking, he leaves off the first 2 words of the question. So if we were to write a very complete sentence, it would be, do you mind if I look? And he skips the do you. But he's talking to Kim and she knows that he means her. But here, mind if I look, mind is the verb and it means, would it bother you? Is it okay with you? So here, if Kim minded, so here we add an ed because we're using mind as a verb. So if Kim minded, that means if it bothered her, if she didn't want him to, she didn't say so. So when we come back next time, we're going to be looking at the jewelry box. Now I have a line there. Okay. Deal?
Yeah, gobbledygook.
Gobbledygook. So long.
Turn it. Bye. Bye.